Hi, I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Janis Kuda.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, Game to Love fans. We're here for another day of, well, it's Rome Masters this week, and I feel a bit more refreshed now since our last podcast. I think we were a little bit lagging after the US Open. We had that late night for the men's final. How are you feeling now?
Mate, I feel refreshed. I feel like a new man, back on the clay now. That's exciting for me as well. Rafael Nadal's out to play. Obviously, Djokovic is going to be there as well. I think it's just exciting. Like you say, the US Open, it was hard for us, wasn't it? Like covering all them events, so many different games every day. Obviously, the last one was just quite an epic final as well. Went on all the way to the early hours.
Yeah.
And so, it's nice to be on more of a European time now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what we'll be really benefiting from the French Open, we can actually have it on our terms for a change, and we can get to bed at a normal time.
Yeah, but before we get on to the French Open, we've got Rome kicking off right now.
Yes, we do.
And there's been some super exciting matches. One, which you've probably clicked on the video for, which is the big upset, which, to be fair, Ben kind of called it on the last one. I was already talking about Wawrinka through to the next round, but it turns out Lorenzo Musetti beat Stan Wawrinka, and in a very comfortable style as well.
Yeah, I mean, wow. What about that first set, hey? I mean, we had... I don't think anybody saw Stan Wawrinka getting bageled in the first set on clay. Clay, he's such a good clay court player, Stan.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were talking about it. He'd come early to go and practice on the clay. He didn't go to the US Open.
Yeah.
Practiced in some challenges on the clay, won the challenges on the clay, and he thought he'd be pretty much in the flow of things. But he didn't anticipate the next breed of top player who he was going to come up against. And we know how good Lorenzo Musetti is. We've been singing his praises since we started the podcast, even before we started the podcast.
Yeah. And it's annoying, isn't it? Because people are going to just be like, we're jumping on the bandwagon now. We've been trying to get this guy on the podcast for ages, like early doors. He didn't have many followers on either Instagram or Twitter. We thought maybe we'd have a chance. It's just so difficult. For a start, I'm not sure if his English is too great. It's the same with Carlos Alcaraz as well. We've both held them two guys in like the highest regard, and we think they are going to go all the way to the top. They're the most exciting next-gen players coming through. And I'm just so glad we're finally getting to see them against some of the top guys. And Stan Wawrinka, he's a seasoned pro. I saw like the craziest stat as well. Obviously, Musetti was born in 2002, which is just bizarre. And 2002, Stan Wawrinka, well, I think Stan turned pro in 2000. So he was already playing, I think he was in the ITF circuits. There was actually the day he was born, he was playing a match, Stan Wawrinka. And I thought it was just bizarre, like complete different ends of the spectrum. One who's had a very lucrative career and one who's just at the beginning of his career. But both equally impressive. And they're both actually one of like really exciting players on clay. Obviously, they've both got the one-handed backhand.
Yeah.
And Musetti was saying after the match that Wawrinka was kind of like an idol for him, someone he's always looked up to. And they've got a bit of similar game, really. I just feel like Musetti's that younger guy coming through, a lot more hungrier, and certainly stamina-wise and energy, he just had it in abundance. And we've spoke before about Stan and how he's a bit of a slow starter. He's often known as Diesel because it takes a while to get warmed up, but he didn't get that opportunity, did he? Obviously, first set. I don't know if you've got the scores up there, Ben, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I can. Do you want me to bring up a point by point as well, or do you?
Yeah, you can do. Just bring up the match thing.
Okay, I brought up all of the results.
It's not on there at the moment. It's just this screen.
Bear with me 1 second. I'll share the other one.
All right, cool. But yeah, with that, like 6-0, he bageled Stan Wawrinka. And I wasn't actually giving him that much chance. I thought this was maybe a step too soon playing Stan. And we've seen what Stan's been doing in the Challenger Tour. He's been just like obliterating everyone. But yeah, just Musetti was just on fire. We would love to bring some of the clips of that match, but for copyright reasons, I'm not sure if we're allowed to too much. So check it out on YouTube. I think Tennis TV, they show all the highlights of the match. But yeah, it was just some ridiculous shots. And that backhand he hits on the run is one of the best in the game right now. And I think Ben's got the thing up right now, so I can show you.
So you can see pretty much from that first game, Stan couldn't afford to start slowly. And he wasn't hitting his stride very well, Stan. Was hitting a few long, and there was unforced errors flying off the racket, and Musetti came out the blocks really fast, looked really good from the off. And as soon as he'd got all the way to even like 4-love, you thought the set's done. And he just managed to break him again. I mean, it was putting up a bit more of a fight there and at 5-love, but some of the shots that Musetti from both sides, his forehand and backhand, were looking really, really powerful, and Stan was struggling to deal with the power of these shots. And he's only 18, this kid, as well. So it's really, really promising.
Mate, he's the first guy born in 2002 to have an ATP win. And I was looking down that list. It's a shame I don't have the photo, actually, to attach. But there's some big names in there, like Felix is on there. I think Shapovalov from one of the years. And if you go all the way back to like 91, I think Dimitrov. There's some big names there, big tennis players. And he's now joined that long list. Alcaraz is on there as well. He's obviously the year late. I think he was born in 2003. So these are the two most exciting players. With Alcaraz as well, what we've seen is he's been playing on hard courts as well, and he can replicate it. We've not really seen that from Musetti so much. But I'm sure he can. Not yet. He's just young, and on clay, he's just formidable. Yeah. But then you look at the second set. Is this the second set you got?
Yeah, I mean, he got broken straight away, which is more impressive.
Yeah.
So, and then you thought Stan, the comeback's on, and Stan's going to come up and clear it up. But it wasn't. And he managed to break him back. And a very tight set. Went all the way to the tie break.
No, it was Musetti broke first, Ben.
No. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apologies. Yeah. So Musetti broke first. Stan was the one who came back.
Yeah.
And then
but it's the same thing basically. Stan managed to come back, and at that point when he looks like he's breaking back, you think then he's in the driving seat for that set.
And exactly, and he got all the way to that tie break, and
bit of a shaky tie break, to be fair. A lot of people losing serve, but he come through in the end, and just even the last point was a winner. He passed him at the net, Stan, and he is kind of the future. We'll get onto the chat as well. Mickey's in here. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. And we've also got Jordan.
Hey.
Talking about Stan's a bit long in the tooth now. Shame to see, but also great to see the young talent coming through and getting big wins.
He looked a little bit, I don't know if it's just me and I'm being a little bit cruel, but I thought Stan, I don't know, he's not overweight, but he looked a little bit like on the stocky side compared to obviously Musetti's 18, and looks like quite a young, skinny, like sort of frame, whereas Stan, he looks a lot bigger. Looks like a lot harder to get.
I think he's always been a bit like that, though. And mate, he's Stan Wawrinka. He's been playing well in the challengers recently. He beat Aslan Karatsev, who's in the form of his career and one of the most formidable clay court players right now. So I don't think we can really say it was due to Stan's inefficiencies. I feel like it was just Musetti rose to the occasion.
Amazing.
A good question by Mickey. Do you think Stan has another slam left in him? Are we going to see another Stan slam?
Well, we want him to try and complete the Stan Slam because he has 3 of them. The only one he doesn't have is Wimbledon, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'd be lovely to see him grab Wimbledon before he was to retire, but I don't see it. I'm not going to lie.
I agree. I don't think he's going to win one now. But you never know in tennis. I've seen crazier things.
It's a funny old sport, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just don't think he personally can. I think there's too many hungry young players coming through. And like we've seen with the likes of Musetti, and that they're able to beat a Stan Wawrinka. So I can't see why other more experienced players can't as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is really promising for Italian tennis as well, though, because obviously we've got Matteo Berrettini. He's sort of leading the charge over there in Italy, and it must be nice to see somebody else coming through because there's not really been as many other. We had Sinner as well, obviously. He's very promising young talent.
Well, it's actually a record. I'm glad you said it, Ben. I've got a little stat for this. It's the most
Yeah.
Italians ever to go through the first round in Rome. They've never seen so many Italians in the draw. There's some interesting debates as to why. Do you think it's to do with the fact that, well, in Italian they call it braccino, where you get like your arm goes a bit weak when you've got the crowd watching you. Could it be a case of that? The players are blocked.
Maybe.
You don't have a big crowd there. There's not so much pressure on the Italians. Or do you think it's just a case that, I don't know, it depends or do you think it's like a case that there's a good crop of Italian players right now? I think I'm more edging towards that in terms of like there's some good Italian guys out there.
For a couple of them, I'm edging towards that. But for the others, I reckon it's more the you can say it again. I don't know.
Oh, braccino.
Yeah, it's that. It's the braccino. I reckon for that, maybe for Cecchinato, who was playing Edmund, managed to get through in 3. And then obviously the big win of the round there was Salvatore Caruso, who managed to take out Tennis Sangren in 3, which is a really impressive win for Caruso. And as we know, it's playing right now.
Against Novak Djokovic. Djokovic took the first set. We'll get on to that in a minute when we get on to the next rounds. Let's just go through some of these ones before we do. So if we look at the top, Rublev, comfortable against Bagnis.
Looked good,
Yeah, it looked really good. One to watch for sure. Millman beat Souza. Bit of a surprise, I guess. I think
Souza
it
was the lucky loser, wasn't he? Souza?
Yeah, Souza's not been playing well for a while, to be honest. I just feel like Millman's not a top clay court player. Souza's more experienced to clay, for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can tell by the nations, Australia versus Portugal. I don't feel like Portugal should be losing on a clay court battle there. No. However, Millman, too powerful in the end, managed to beat him. The big upset, really, Correa beats Struff.
We love him, though, don't we, old Correa?
Yeah, he's really good player.
We're big fan favourites of it's Federico, right? Yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
And, well, Jan Struff, we know how well he's been playing. He just made it to, was it the 3rd round or 4th? I think it was the 3rd round of the US Open.
Yeah. Keeps drawing Djokovic, doesn't it?
And that's what I mean, no Djokovic in the draw. But if he'd have defaulted earlier, we might have seen Struff in the final. You never know. This is possible. But I bet he's annoyed that he did it up against Carreño Buster instead.
Yeah, in that first set as well, Correa beat him 6-1. He's an incredible player on clay. But I think he's already gone out. So we're going to get on to that in a minute. Let's skip through some of these. The big match was Dimonor Koepfer. And Koepfer, that's his first Masters win, I believe.
That's impressive as well.
Really good from him. Really good. Alex de Minaur was leading that whole match. If you look at the point by point, it was pretty dominant from Alex de Minaur. He had so many opportunities. He had match points, break points galore. Koepfer kept fighting back and wouldn't let him rest. I've noticed he's lost a bit of his charm since he's shaved off the moustache. It was like his lucky moustache. Now it's gone. He didn't have too much luck in that match.
I wasn't so keen on this moustache, though, to be honest. He's up there with the Evans.
Mate, it was a terrible moustache, but it helped his tennis for some reason. When he had the moustache, he was playing some good stuff.
On some of these occasions, because it was so weak at the sides, the moustache, and just strong in the middle, wasn't it? From a distance, it looked a little bit like a Hitler moustache, and that was what was bugging me about it. I thought maybe should have taken that off. Might have been attracting the wrong attention. But if it helped him win, he did well in the in the US Open and the Australian Open as well. Just did all right in both, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Another young player. If we go down to Davidovich Fokina, he went out. Expected a bit better for him, but Lajovic is a quality player. If he turns up, Lajovic, he can beat a lot of people. We saw him like at the beginning of the year, ATP Cup. He was one of the best players there. Alongside the Demon, actually. I remember that game against Nadal. He was impressive, but I thought Lajovic was really good then as well. We know he's capable. He's like a top 30 player, I still believe. So it's going to happen for Fokina. He's still got a bright future ahead. This is a bit of a shock. Pella Shapovalov. Obviously, Pella's a more experienced clay court player, but Shapa's in some really good form and playing some of the best tennis I've seen from him. And it's really good to see someone playing in the US Open, going straight to the clay, and being versatile enough to be able to perform and play well.
What you see is some of his shot making in this match.
Yeah, it's really good. He's just so exciting. Some of the drop shots he played, I thought were like out of this world.
Some of those he literally leaves the floor to hit the backhand. He jumps in the air to hit these single-handed backhands, and they're just it's a real crowd pleaser. If there was anyone there to watch it, then that's the one that will get them on their feet for sure. And for me, I know that we haven't said it yet, but he's going to probably be like a dark horse for the tournament for me if he continues in that vein.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you completely. We've also got, before we get on to next matches, we've got Lamb in the chat. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. And yeah,
what
nice to see.
The curse sort of strikes again. We always talk about Kekmanovic obviously won his first ATP event in Kitzbühel in Austria.
And then
first match into the next tournament goes out against a hard court specialist, Nishioka, which was a bit of a shock. I still thought Kekmanovic might still have enough in the gas tank, but
I think everyone thought Kekmanovic was going to win that match, but it wasn't to be. We know, we've seen it so many times. When you win a tournament, you go into the next one. The chances are you usually go up first round. I don't know why it happens, but it just happens very often. We've noticed that trend.
Ask Jen Brady.
Yeah, Jen Brady. Oh yeah, she did it as well, right?
Yeah, she did it just before the US Open. She won, I believe it was in Lexington, and then out in the first round in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, of course.
Granted, they are Masters tournaments and not the other type. So he did Kekmanovic beat Hanfmann in the final, and Hanfmann's normally a finalist of Challenger events more than ATP, to be honest. So the standard of opposition
it's increased a little bit. But Kekmanovic is a top player. I really rate him. He's now 39th in the world, which means there's quite a few Serbians up there, which is good. And for such a small country, Serbia's definitely repping in the tennis scene. If we go down there, obviously Raonic dispatched Malorino very comfortably.
Do you want to have a look at what's going on at the moment?
Yeah, let's have a look at some of the live ones, and then we'll move on to the women.
So we've had today, obviously, Correa, we were saying what an amazing upset against Struff. Well, the Italian, he's held his nerve pretty easy. It's just quite a good first set. I was watching it earlier, and Correa was actually looking pretty good, getting some juices as well on Berrettini serve, but Berrettini I think he just worked
first set
out.
He was really good. It was quite tight. I know we was both watching that match, but Berrettini is just a class above. He's a ridiculously good player. And after we've done, actually, maybe we can do it after we've done these few matches here. Our review, we'd give our dark horse and who we think is going to win the tournament. We'll do that for the men and women. You can let us know in the comments what you think. But before we do that, Berrettini is just too much. He could be someone. I'm not sure if Ben's going to allow me him as a dark horse. We're having that discussion. I don't think he's allowed. He's too much of a big dog. So I'll have to pick someone else for that, unless I have him as my main pick. But he's definitely someone who can get all the way to the end. It's in Italy as well. And just watch this space with him. Moving on to Cilic Goffin. I expected Goffin to do a lot better than that. That's for sure.
I know I did. I was thinking Goffin will get past. I've always ruling Cilic out just because of his age, but then he just proves me wrong every time.
I know. I think Cilic is playing some really good stuff actually recently. He lost his form the last 2 years, I feel, but he's kind of regaining it a little bit, and he's definitely someone you can't dismiss and think it's an easy game. He advances. We've got a match going on right now, Travaglia Coric, and I saw the first set. It was ridiculous. Travaglia was 5-4 up, 40 love, serving for the match. All he needed was 1 point, and he ended up getting broken, losing serving for the set, and lost 5 points in a row, like an idiot. And then ended up forcing a tie break. He did end up winning it, so you can't be too strong with him. And it looks like he's locked into a tight second set there. I know Borna Coric was up a break. It looks like he's clawed that back. Moving on to the next one, comfortable as hell. Novak Djokovic cruises through, beating Caruso. It was actually quite a tight first set, and Caruso was playing some really good tennis, but it's just a different class, Novak.
Big upset. Is this coming up in here? And is this going to, go back to one of our last podcasts? Will Tsitsipas ever recover?
Yeah, and I think it will have an impact on him. And you can see right now, 3-1 down, 15, love 15.
And the Italians again.
Good, is it? Yeah.
See, Travaglia, Berrettini, Sinner. I mean, Caruso, fair enough. You're playing Djokovic. You can't really expect him to be take it. If he took out Djokovic, I think something was really up. But
bit of match fixing going on there.
Yeah, for sure. I know, but Sinner, yeah, well within his grasp, beating Tsitsipas, coming off of such a devastating defeat in the US Open. I think that she's there for the taking at the moment. First match back on clay.
This is the best time for Sinner to be playing Tsitsipas in Italy against a Tsitsipas who is clearly low on confidence after losing a match he already had won against Borna Coric in the US Open. Good time to play him. Let's see how that one unfolds. Maybe we'll go back to that later on in the video. Then we've got some other matches being played today. Chetinato Krajinovic, Dimitrov Nishioka, and obviously the big one, Rafael Nadal back on clay. Carino Busta, Rafael Nadal. And we also will be doing a live stream, a live watch-along, for that match. So please join us for that. It'll be good to see as many of you as possible. And we're both really excited to see what Rafa's made of. Yeah, is he going to be okay? He's not played since Acapulco, as far as I remember.
It's been a long time coming since we've seen Rafa Nadal back on court, and especially back on the clay court.
Yeah, usually he's played so many different tournaments before this. Before he usually gets to Roland Garros, he's played maybe 4 or 5 clay tournaments, and he's in the form of his life. Everyone's saying there's no way he's going to lose it. How's he going to react to not playing matches and going straight into it? I think he's going to be okay. I think the tennis he was playing before the lockdown was exceptional. And hopefully he just returns. And as Jordan says, the return of the king. He's probably my favourite player. Ben's not the biggest fan. You do love Rafa, don't you? But you're not one of the big diehards.
He's just one of those players who brings so much to the sport. That's all. And it's just the passion and the energy and the power. I don't think anybody can not like the way that he plays. He's there he's like a fan favorite. So always excited to see what he's bringing to the table. It's just going to be interesting. I just like the lineup that he's got, though, because Pablo Carreño Busta is obviously a very good clay court player, and he just made the semi-final of a Grand Slam. He might be tired, but it also might give him confidence. He's just been in the semi-final of the last big Grand Slam. So you never know. He might be better match fit than Nadal going into this. You don't know.
And these two know each other very well as well, obviously. Both Spanish, played in Davis Cup a lot together. There's also an incident last year, I remember, they was playing a training match and there was a big argument after the match where there was even training and Buster was claiming that, I forget the actual ins and outs of it, but in essence, Nadal was saying that he won the match and Buster was saying that you didn't deserve it, you was cheating. Even on training, these guys, they train like they play in the real matches. It's going to be a really exciting match for sure. So join us for that one. And this leads on nicely to us giving our predictions for the tournament on the men's side. Do you want to start off, Ben, with your dark horse?
Well, my dark horse, I already sort of said. I reckon if he plays the way that he played yesterday, Shapovalov, I thought he looked exceptional, better than I've ever seen him play on clay. But we're always tipping him all the time, and I don't know, maybe I don't want to curse him, but I'm going for him again as an outsider pick. I just quite like him. Who do you have as an outsider?
Well, I would love to have Berrettini, but you're not going to allow me, so I'm going to go even more of an outsider than that. It's going to be, you're going to call me crazy, but if we keep bigging him up on the podcast, I feel like we've got to give him his time, and we've seen the big three before. They was winning tournaments while they were younger. So I'm going for Lorenzo Musetti as my dark horse.
I hope
it's going to be a big ask. It's a big, big ask. But listen, man, if you're that great of a tennis player, which I think he is, I think there's no reason this age should not be a problem for him. And I think considering he's got a ridiculously tough draw as well, it's going to be more or less impossible. But he is my pick to be the dark horse of the tournament.
Can you imagine your first ATP tournament and it's a Masters event, and then you've got Djokovic, you've got Nadal, you've got Wawrinka, you've got Berrettini, you've got all of the top dogs apart from Federer in this tournament. If he was to win it, it would be...
Listen, we've seen what happened in the US Open with Pironkova. No one expected her to get as far as she did. So I don't think Musetti is the craziest thing in the world. Jordan makes a brilliant comment. Rude, dark horse. That's a really good one as well.
I forgot that he was.
That's one I was saying before the tournament. To be fair,
I mean, yeah, he's He is very, very good. The only thing that I think that he does maybe lack is power. And that's just against some of the big.
I think he does.
Yeah,
I think he's got
against
it.
some of the bigger players. I don't think when he comes up against those top echelon players, I think he gets a little bit pushed around the. Might just be his age in the past. He might be growing, and might prove me wrong. Yeah, that was one.
I don't really see that. I think he's still quite a powerful player. I don't think that's his downfall. But let's give our main picks now. I'll let you go first.
I don't even want my main pick. You don't want my main pick.
Why not?
Because there's part of me. I don't even want to say it because I don't even want to jinx the whole tournament. I'm feeling like I could really destroy the tournament for someone, but I'm going to go with Rafael Nadal. I think he's going to come back, and he's going to come back firing. That's all I'm not going to say any more than that. The more I talk about it, the more it's going to come back to bite me.
Mate, I'll have to agree. I'm going with Rafa as well.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate now.
I know, especially that we didn't go for Djokovic in the US. But the reason is, I just think it's kind of when he's not played for a while. Just it's sort of written in the stars, isn't it, for Rafael Nadal to come back and win a tournament, especially being Rome. He's got such a good history here. I've seen his draw, and I think
he's a 9-time champion.
I just like the look of it. I think he's going to be okay. To be fair, I think Schwartzman could cause a bit of a trouble if he plays him, which he could have on the route. And I think that could be one of the toughest matches en route to the final. But if he can do that, for me, Rafael Nadal's the one to beat, for sure.
I mean, we can have a look at the draw quickly if you want. Just have a look on here. 1 second.
No, he does play Schwartzman on the draw. I've checked that one.
Okay. I was just going to just bring up the draw.
Yeah, have a quick one, and then we'll get on to the women's. Because, we've been talking 27 minutes already.
Already? Wow.
Yeah.
That's how time flies when there's a good tournament on. So, yeah, we obviously got Djokovic there. He could face the winner of Krajinovic-Cecchinato. Musetti and Nishikori. Now, that's a very, very top matchup. I can't wait for that one. It's going to be good. And then the winner could be another player we're not talked about, really. Monfils. It'd be interesting to see how he comes back as well. That's going to be a really interesting match against Koepfer. I think he does Koepfer. I'm hoping Musetti sets up a matchup there with Monfils. I think that would be an amazing matchup.
Yeah.
We've obviously Berrettini's just gone through. We've got, it could be Travaglia, could an all-Italian affair there in that next round, potentially. And Cilic through. I reckon Rude's got that sealed up, to be honest, against Sonego. That's my personal opinion.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I still think he's got too much for him. Fanini apparently had double ankle surgery, and that's why he's just coming back. Ugo Humbert's pretty good. I know Fanini flopped out of the last tournament he played. I think it was last week against Huesler, who's not very highly ranked, but he did well and got to the final. Fanini, I could see him losing that, to be honest, if he's still not fully fit.
Yeah.
Shapovalov Martinez, that's going to be a real tough match for Shapovalov, but I reckon he's got the power to get past him. Let me just go back up there. It was Nishikori he's playing, wasn't it? Yeah,
Nishikori as well.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought I read Nishioka. Yeah,
I do that as well. It's because we're not used to seeing Nishikori back.
Yeah, Nishikori back again. Yeah, that's really great to see. That's an even harder matchup than Nishioka, probably. But yeah, we go back down. We see Nishioka there, Dimitrov. Amazing matchup. Who would you favour there?
In who, sorry?
Nishioka, Dimitrov.
Dimitrov for me. I think he's playing all right. I think he'll do him.
And then
Nishioka predominantly play hard court.
Yeah, Sinner, Tsitsipas.
Yeah, we'll get back to that one later on in the video.
And then we've got Schwartzman, Millman. You fancy Schwartzman in that? Another player we haven't really spoken about enough, really, Schwartzman. I think he could be facing Rublev. I reckon Rublev over Hurkacz, really. And then Dusan or Raonic. Which one do you take on there?
Probably Dusan.
Oh.
Upset, I think.
Could be. Yeah, I was thinking that possibly, but I never backed Dusan, so the time I'd probably do Raonic probably beat him.
Raonic should be favourite, but...
Yeah, Nadal, like you said, could potentially meet Schwartzman there in the, what would that be? Quarterfinals, is it? Yeah. Interesting draw, though.
Yeah.
Move away from there.
Nice one. But let's look at the women's now. Let's move on to the women's. I don't know if you want to get the results up from yesterday, I believe.
Yeah,
and we'll go through some of them results because there were some big matchups. We had Coco Gauff, Ons Jabeur, Garbi Muguruza.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Some good matches. I'll just share the
start
screen.
at the top, and we had
Vondrousova back on clay in an impressive win. Second set, I don't know what she was doing. It was a bit of a hit and miss. It was just they kept breaking each other. It wasn't the highest of quality matches, but Vondrousova come through in the end and won that. Kerber out. Didn't expect that, and she got battered. To be fair, absolutely battered. Did not compete at all. And I was actually watching it as well because I was expecting a bit of a comeback. I was seeing how good Kerber could come back from it, but she didn't in the second set. I thought we'd see a good second set, but it was just more of the same in the first, if not more dominant.
Yeah, for sure. If she keeps playing that way, Siniakova, you never know. Might see a good run from her in this tournament.
Yeah, certainly experienced player. If we just go down a little bit, one I wanted to talk about was Kaja Juvan.
Yeah.
Disappointing loss for her. Really is. Such a top player, but I expected her to do better here.
For me, Hercog's one of these really strange players. She's either like a world beater or she completely flops, and you never know which one's going to turn up.
I feel like she's making a career from mediocrity, if you know what I mean. Like she's just someone who just hovers around in the rankings.
A journeyman.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
There's a lot of people like this, though, who they're good on their day, but then they just consistency is never there. But
agreed.
Your girl there from the US Open, Kontaveit, she had a good win there against Caroline Garcia.
Yep.
Putintseva, another person who we think could do quite well in this tournament.
Yeah, it keeps going. Really good. We are starting to rate her a lot more now. We've seen that she's consistently putting results together, and I reckon she could go quite deep in this tournament. It's good that she's been able to transition between hard courts of the US over to Europe very easily, and looks like she's in some good form as well. One I'm a bit disappointed in, Bernardo Pera. Not that great from her. She's not been playing the best of late. Ons Jabeur, Coco Gauff, and this was expecting to be a massive matchup. It wasn't, to be fair. I thought it was a bit disappointing in the quality of tennis. Both players, if you look at the point by point, there was just breaks galore in all the sets. No one could hold a serve, and it was just a bit of a mess of a match, really. But Coco had too much and ended up winning it. Ons was not serving very well at all in this match, and I was a bit disappointed, really. But it just shows Coco Gauff a bit of revenge there because she's recently lost to Ons Jabeur. It's got a bit of revenge back and managed to beat her. If we go down the way to the bottom, then we've got Muguruza, Sloane Stevens. That's a huge matchup straight off. I'm sure Muguruza wasn't very happy with the draw, but she's happier now that she's won the first match, that's for sure. So,
solid.
One to watch.
Yeah, I can bring up the...
if you bring up the draw, we'll give our dark horse and our main selection as well for that one.
Sure. 1 second.
Let us know what you think in the comments. We've got Jordan saying Putintseva is his dark horse and Muguruza is his favourite. Interesting. We both went for Muguruza in the US Open, and that didn't end up very well.
We didn't look at the results from today, but I can just tell you quickly. There was a Paul Halep made it through today. Elise Mertens has gone through as well, and Kovanic as well. And just starting, probably one of the ties of the round is Azarenka versus Venus Williams. So.
Yeah, and that's one I'm glad you said that. I forgot about that. Azarenka, what is she doing? That's crazy for me. Just played in a US Open final. A matter of days, she's flown to Rome and she's already playing again.
Yeah, that jet lag.
Have we ever seen that before? That's just in crazy on a different surface as well. If she manages to win this match against Venus Williams, honestly, this girl is just like a robot.
She is on.
She's not human, is she?
But she's on science. That's all. Let's have a look at the draw quickly. I'll share this with you, and then you can see what is going on the women's side. So
and I've already got my ones anyway. I know exactly what I'm picking. I thought about this.
I haven't really got my one ready yet, but I'm just gonna go through it. I mean, I've got my outsider. I don't have my favorite yet.
Okay.
So yeah, we look down the draw there. We got Halep's made it through, pretty comfortable in the end, even though it started a bit shaky, getting broken.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Yastremska and Anisimova. I actually fancy Anisimova to win that one. I think she performed well in that first match. I think she might do right. This is going to be my dark horse for the competition in the next match, which is Rybakina. So that is the person that I will be picking for my dark horse.
Oh, mate, that was mine.
Is it? Well, it's fine. If we both have the
stole
same.
It.
Well, I think we both know how good she is. She's bageled Alexandrova in that first match as well.
Mate, I think she's better. I think she's going to do really well in this tournament. And I like the fact that she's at the top of the draw.
I hope she is.
Yeah. Mate, you never know what's going to happen in the women's side, especially. But I think she's got a good chance.
Wow.
If we go down there, obviously, we've got Kenin, another big favourite. She's got a bye. She'll be playing the winner of Azarenka from Williams, which is crazy second round draw.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to give yours now. Shall I give my outside? You've already done our outsiders. We both agree that we're going for the same one.
Which is mad.
And then my favourite, hopefully you classify as a favourite, is Elise Mertens. She's my pick to win the tournament. I think she showed some really good form late, playing really well back in Europe. I think that will favour her slightly. And I like her on clay as well. I think it will match her game and suit her down to the ground. We've already seen what she's been like in the transition. She's transitioned brilliantly. So for me, Elise Mertens is going to be winning WTA Rome.
Wow. Where is she in the draw? Is she all the way down here? Yeah, she's already into this round. So it's quite a safe one. She's already
I didn't even mate, I wasn't doing it because of that. I wasn't doing it because of that. It's Elise Mertens, mate. She's going to go all the way to the end.
Well, I don't want to pick someone who is potentially going to go out in the next round, but I was going to go with that's too safe with Halep, to be honest. I was going to pick before I saw even the draws Muguruza again. Just try and I know that she didn't really perform in the US Open. I'm hoping she's a little bit better warmed up now than after coming back. She looked good against Sloane Stephens. I think she has too much for Corey Goff if she plays her best tennis. And then Joe Conte is in there. You never know. You never know.
She's capable, isn't she?
Yeah. You just never know. So yeah, that's my personal opinion on that women's side of the draw.
Yeah, and like Jordan says, I think it's just really refreshing to see Azarenka back to her best and playing at the top level again. It's just remarkable that she's played such a top tournament in the US Open and now she's in Rome competing again.
Yeah.
Our fingers crossed, actually, she beats Venus Williams. I love both players, but it would just be an amazing story. Another one I wanted to talk about, Ben, is Pironkova. Is she playing in this tournament or is she saving herself for Roland Garros now?
I don't believe that she's in.
I think she's got a wild card for Roland Garros, which is brilliant. So we'll be seeing her in that. I don't think she's in Rome. So keep your eyes out for that.
No, she's not in this one.
Yeah, I think she's saving herself. She's definitely in French in Roland Garros. She got a wild card, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and hopefully another thing we just want to say before we end the video is in the French, what's coming up. I'm just hoping we get to see Musetti and Alcaraz there because that will really make it a special tournament for me.
Sure.
Yeah, go on, Ben.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. Exactly the same. I just hope we get to see what these young guys are capable of in the early part of their career because we obviously seen how well people like Rafa have done when they were put on the big stage early on, and we've seen big wins from both of them now in their first ATP event. Alcaraz beat Ramos, and now we've seen Musetti beat even more impressively Wawrinka, who is 3-time Grand Slam champion. So this just spells amazing things for the future of tennis, and I think these two, we've said it on the part. Well, even when they played each other, that was like as good as like a Grand Slam final for us to watch.
We was loving it. It was incredible high-level tennis. So let's just see what the next few weeks hold. I just hope to see them both there. We'll leave it on what Lambs just said. How did Azarenka manage the jet lag just after the US Open final? We don't understand it. It is crazy. but she's doing it and she's playing amazing tennis. So let's all get behind her and support her.
Maybe she has a twin playing in there on the clay court.
But I wonder if the twin's better on clay and she's better on hard. That's why they've done it that way around.
Maybe.
But anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys, for your comments and joining us. You can watch it on repeat on YouTube if you've missed any of it at all. And the only thing I want to just say is we'll be doing a watch along for the Rafael Nadal match later on at 6 o'clock UK time. So please join us for that. We love to see as many of you as possible there. And if you're not already, subscribe, like, and we'll see you next time. You got anything to say, Ben?
No, I was just going to say, over and out.
Peace.